Hey everybody, Patty Ann here. Welcome back to part 2 of creating your own SVGs for your Cricut machine and your Cameo machine. So if you look down here at my desktop, you'll be able to see, or my tabletop actually, you'll be able to see what I've worked on so far. I've put one of the Winnies together, and then I'm going to step back in time and show you how to do this totally for your Cricut and then again for your Silhouette. So check out down here at my tabletop. Okay, here are the Winnies that are going to go back to back when I put them on my table centerpiece, because I want it to be double-sided, and I'm going to show you how I get the wood piece like this. We drill a hole in it. I put a 1/4-inch dowel rod in here, and I'm going to show you all about how I do this to make them stand up. And I'm going to show you as well how I use popsicle sticks to complete this project, or tongue depressors. I use this tool right here to simply cut the dowel rod off where I need it to be cut. So, like I said, here's the beginning of one. I've gotten the red part of him already not weeded, but cut out, which I can glue on. And I actually have his teeny weeny little mouth right here too, which I don't want to lose. I'll put that over here on his belly. Maybe I won't lose it. Huh. All right. So the next thing I'm going to do is just move these pieces out of the way. And I guess I'll just get these out of here now so that they're not in my way when I start working on the other things. So let's see, I'm just going to punch these out. There's Winnie's belly and his face. So the cardstock that I'm using, especially the black, let me show you the black that I've used. It's this right here, and I'll have it linked down below for you because I really like this. It's the Cricut cardstock bulk packages. I've decided, yesterday I think I told you I was going to use 12 by 12 sheets, but I decided to go ahead and use, 8.5 by 11 sheets, but I decided to just go ahead and use the 12 by 12 since I had all the colors that I needed. So I'll have a link for it down below for you too. Now remember, I'm using the Silhouette Business Edition for my Cricut machine. If you have a Cricut machine, people have said to me, Patty Ann, when I try to save these things as an SVG or as a JPEG or whatever you tell me, those options aren't available to me. The reason why they're not available to you is because you do not have the Business Edition. You have to have the Business Edition and to make those options available. Now, if you have a Cameo machine, you do not have to be able to save them like that. You can just save them as Silhouette files, and for the most part, you don't need anything more involved than the, what's it called? Let me look up here. Help. View in. Oh, the Designer Edition Plus. Like I said, I'm going to have links down below for you guys for the best price that I know of, where you can get the free version, which obviously it's free, or you can get the paid version after you get the free version for your Cricut machine. So let's go back up to my Silhouette Studio now, and I'm going to show you how to get these pieces all ready to be cut for Cricut and Cameo. Okay, I'm going to run through the steps that I went through yesterday, and if you'd like to see it more slowly, I'll have the link up above for you and down below this video so you can watch it again more slowly. But what I did was I just went onto Google and got an image like this. Notice there's a white box behind him. I don't want that there, so I come over here to the Trace tool. I select the trace area, and again, if it feels like I'm going fast, go watch yesterday's video. It'll be slower. So I'm tracing this, and I'm going to up my threshold some, and I'll leave it like that, and I'm going to say trace. Now what I'm going to do is remove this box. I don't need it. Delete. I'm going to go ahead and come up here to the upper left hand corner and make this a color that I'm probably not going to use in Winnie so we can see it. There we go. And I'll probably scroll in. Let me move him over for a sec. Whoopsie. Hold on. Move over, Winnie, move over. All right. I was just going to scroll in, so it looks like I'm scrolled in well enough now. So the first thing I'm going to do after I change that colors, I'm just going to come up here, click on the whole thing, come up to Object, Release Compound Path. That puts boxes around everything so I can begin coloring him. Okay, I decided to get rid of these two little dots here. I don't think I needed them. 3 little dots actually there. Okay. And now I'm going to change his shirt color to red. Come up here, get the eyedropper if I want to use the exact color, and change it to red. Perfect, just like that. I'm going to change his coloring to the Winnie the Pooh color, so I can use again the eyedropper that lets me select the color. Perfect. I'm going to scroll way in because I'm going to change this little bitty bit of his tongue, and I'm going to make that red the same color as his shirt. Scroll back out. And I'll make the rest of his body the color that is Winnie the Pooh. So I'll just click on that one, hold down my shift, this one, this little circle, his arm, the other arm, his ear, and his other ear. So that should be it. Let's see what happens. There's the color I used most recently up here in the upper left-hand corner, so I'll click on that. Perfect. All right, so now what I can do is I can go ahead and change the backing piece to black. Instead of it being that light blue color, I can now change it to black. I wouldn't want to do that in the beginning because it would be hard to see what I was doing. All right, so now what we have is this. His face looks like this, and then these are little teeny tiny pieces that I would cut out of black to make his face. But I don't want to do that, and I'll show you at the end the little teeny weeny tiny pieces that you would be left with if you did it like this, that you'd have to glue on. So what you can do is just click on this blue color, hold down your shift key, click on the color of his face, and then come over here to the modify panel on the right and click subtract. And again, I'm going quickly through this, but it's more slowly gone through on the number, what is it? Page number 1 anyway. The first part 1, there we go. So I'm going to click on his eyebrow, hold down my shift key, click on his skin, and subtract. So what that's doing is making a hole right there in his face. Look at that. So I don't have to cut out little black pieces. If I have the black background, it'll be perfect just like this because it will show through. So I can continue to do these one by one, or I can select a bunch at once to work on. So I've selected the eyeball on the right, hold down my shift key, get the other eyeball, still holding my shift key. I'm going to get this little line, his nose, this little line, his mouth, and now I'm going to click on his face. And I'm going to say subtract. I think there'll be one more piece I'll need to do, but I'm not sure. So I'm going to subtract right now and see. Yeah. I think I'm just going to get rid of this piece right here. I don't need it, right? So I'm just going to delete that too. So there he is. He's done. Let me show you. That face is ready to go. Look at that. It's going to cut perfectly just like this. Now, here's the thing. If I was doing this out of vinyl, I probably would want to group all these pieces together, but not really group. Let me show you. I would come up here to select by color, and if it comes in by line, I would change it by fill, and I'm going to do only the shapes on the media. So I'm going to click on the orange, or the whatever color is yellow. Notice boxes are all around this, and I can now say object, make a compound path. So what that does is when I take this over to Cricut, or if I do it here in Silhouette, they're all going to stay exactly where I want them to stay and cut just like this, because when I made it a compound path, that was as if all these pieces were just one. Okay. I'm not really going to want to do that though when I do my cardstock, because that will waste paper. But that's what I would do if I was doing heat transfer vinyl, iron-on vinyl, or regular vinyl. I would do the same thing with the red. Come up here, select the red. Notice that grabbed both a little box around his mouth and the shirt. And I'd come up here to Object, Make Compound Path. And again, those would stay exactly where I need them to stay. But, as I said, I'm not going to do that. Okay, so this should be all separate. Yep. So, what I'm going to do now, though, is I am going to resize him to make him the size I want him to be. Because as I said, I want him to be larger than this. And I decided to make him 11.5 inches tall so that he would fit on one mat. Okay? Even though I said I was going to do him larger than mat. And I'll show you how to make him larger than mat in 1 sec. So all I need to do is go ahead while this is all grouped and stretch this out. Now I'm going to start going a little bit slower because this is the new stuff. going to stretch it out until it's 11.5 inches. Notice the height of him right now is 12.429 inches. That wouldn't fit on my mat. So I'm going to make it smaller, 11.5 about, like that. And that's all going to fit on my mat perfectly. So let me move him up and show you. And I have a 12 by 12 mat set up. I can get rid of this guy over here now. Delete. Okay, the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to make 2 of the black backing. And I want them to be mirrored images of themselves, of each other. So I'm going to take this black piece right here. And actually what I could do, y'all, this is a lot easier actually. I'm just going to grab all of this, everything that makes up Winnie, because I want an exact mirror duplicate for the back. So all I have to do is come over here to the replicate panel. To me it looks like a flying cigar. I don't know why it looks like that. It's the replicate panel. Just hover over it and you'll see it'll say that. Click on that. There's all these different options here. Lots of fun stuff to do in here. But for today, we're going to mirror. And we're going to mirror everything that we have selected here. And I'm going to mirror it to the right. So now look at that. It's perfect. This one's going to be on the front of my page, and this will be on the back. So let's see. Let's move this guy off for a minute. And move this guy on. So what I can do now, and I can do this for either Cricut or Silhouette, and I'll just do it here, and you'll see it'll work over there as well. I'm going to move his shirt off, and his tongue, and I might as well take this shirt, and this tongue, and then I'll take all of these gold things, and actually I can come up here and select by color, and then I can just move these all off of here. And obviously it didn't select these guys because I have shapes on the media only. Let's go back and see what happens if I don't have shapes on the media only. There. I'm going to click on this. And now look, it selects the shapes whether it's on the media or my mat or not. So I can take all those gold ones and put them over there. So these guys are left. And obviously they won't fit on, both of them on the one mat. So I will have to have 2 pieces of black, which I did. This is the part I wanted to show you about. Before I took all these pieces, off, I would want to resize this so they're all the same size or fit together. And let's just pretend that this guy is too large to fit on the mat, and this guy as well. All I'd have to do is just go ahead over here and get the knife tool. Click on that, and you can leave it as straight, or you can make it a curve, poly, whatever you like. And then you can just do this and just, come across here and cut however you want. There it is, it's cut. So I have this piece now and this piece now. Okay? So that's all you would have to do if it was too large to fit on your mat. You would just cut them apart like this. Then after you cut them with your machine, you would simply take tape and tape these 2 pieces together. And you would have done the same thing with this one. I'd probably do it in a little different spot so that the tape's not all in the same area and maybe making it a little bit weak there. But let me just go ahead and undo this because I'm not going to make him that big. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is what I would do is just go over here to send, and it's just going to do the outline. I do heavy cardstock because I used heavy cardstock. So right now it says no Cameo tool number 1 is compatible. Some people have asked me, what in the world does that mean? I don't understand. Well, let's look up here for a second. What tool? No tool is selected. Let's go ahead and select, the action as cut. Okay? And then we can, after we've selected the action, we can now come down here to the tool and select what tool you're going to use. I'm using the auto blade. So now this is ready and it doesn't have that warning anymore. And I could just go ahead and send and cut this. When I'm done, I'd come back to design. I'd move this one off because this one's the mirror. And then I'd come up here to send and make sure he's within the cut lines. You see that red line? That's the cut lines. And go ahead and send it. And of course, if I was using a new material that I'm not used to, before I went to cut this, I would click right here and do a test cut, which would put a little square and a little triangle inside of it right up here in the upper left-hand corner. And I can check and see how well those cut. If they did not cut well, I could come down here and change my knife blade or change my force or the speed, something like that. All right, so let's go back to design. So I pretend I'm done with these two. Then I could bring over my red ones. And I could put these on here however I like, however I think they'd fit best. Oh, I lost one of the little tongues. And again, once these are here, I could just go to send. And again, notice that it is cutting the edge, right? And I could change, I could move this one up so it doesn't waste space. But these are all set correctly because I'm still using the same kind of paper. And I would just say send. Go back to design. Go, these were done. Then I would come over here and get my yellow pieces. Now here's why I wouldn't want to have these staved together as well, object. I wouldn't want them to be a compound path. If they were a compound path, I would bring them over here like this. And basically, I think, let's get this other guy over here. I'm thinking that only one Winnie the Pooh would fit at a time. Let's go ahead and make this one a compound path by going to Object. Make a compound path, which makes it like it's one piece. And then let's bring it over here and see, could I put both of these on one piece? Maybe if I twirl it like this, they'd both fit. Well, no, you know what? I'd have to use two pieces of this gold color, which would be fine if I was using vinyl or HTV. But since I'm using cardstock, I don't want to have to do that. So I'm going to just go ahead and undo this so that they're no longer compound paths. Then what I can do is I can just bring them over here like this, bit by bit. And I kind of kept the images together, like all of his parts were up at the top of my page, kind of. And then let's get these over here closer. And then the second guy was near the bottom of the page. Just like this. And make sure nothing's touching. Of course, you can rotate things like this. Fit things in. And you're going to see how easily I can fit two of these guys, you know, on one sheet of cardstock. So there's one. And I could go through this mess and do this again and grab that other guy over there. But you know what else I can do? I can just go ahead and grab all of this and duplicate it by holding the Alt key down on my keyboard and dragging a new one down. And now this time, since I want this to be the opposite, remember the mirror image of it, I would just right click and say flip horizontally. And now they're both perfectly ready to be cut with my machine. And I'd go send, just like that, and send it and be done. Now, for Cricut Design Space, here's what you do. I would probably move these things over a little bit just so I can keep track of everything. So I should have two tongues, two black Winnies, the background, the backing, and another tongue. So here's all I would do for Cricut Design Space. Wait, one thing that's important to know. You need to remember what size you've made your whatever his name is, Winnie. Okay, you got to make him 11.474. You see that number right there? That's how tall he is. Unless you want to go by the width. But I'm going to go by the height, 11.474 high. So I'm going to remember 11.474. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab everything, select it all, and I might as well just group it. Then I'm going to come up here and go to File, Save As, Save to Hard Drive, 11.474. 474. I got to remember that number because that's how big I made Winnie. If I want them to be exactly the same for Cricut Design Space. Of course, I can make him any size I want to over there as long as I keep it grouped together as I resize. So this is Winnie for Cricut. And as I said, I'm going to save him as an SVG. If these options are not available to you, that's because you do not have the business edition. Look, if I go ahead back up here and go to Help, View in the free edition, and I try to go to File, Save Selection, Save to Hard Drive, I'm only given these two options that I can save it in. This would work for a Cameo machine, no problem. But if you're using your Cricut, that's why you have to buy the software. One-time purchase. Once you purchase it, you own it. It's not a monthly fee, nothing like that. It's wonderful, you guys. It's lovely. You'll love it, I promise. Anyway, so let me go back to Help, and I'm going to put my view in. Since I have the business edition, I can go through all of these, but I'm just going to go back to the business edition. I think it's $50 or $60 total. Hey, if you're stuck in your house right now because of this quarantine, do yourself a favor and buy this software. You'll really enjoy it for whatever machine you have. And go to my website. I have 5 free classes where you can learn how to use it from the very beginning to the end, weekly classes. And we have Patreon classes that are fabulous. And if you're on our Patreon group, we have a private silhouette Facebook group. And also my group, Facebook group, Cutting Up with Patty Ann. You can ask questions there. Anyway, so what I would do again is I would go to File after everything is selected. File, Save Selection, Save to Hard Drive. And I named it, what was it? Shoot, 11.474, I think. 11.474, I'm pretty sure. Winnie for Cricut. And I'm going to save it as an SVG. And say OK. And now I'm curious, was I right with that? I'm going to ungroup this and just see if I was right. 11.474, yay! Okay, let's go over to Cricut now. I've already been messing with this, so let's go to a new one. Replace. Upload. Upload an image. Browse. Winnie 11.474, open. There he comes in with all his little parts. Say save. There he is. Insert. Okay, so what I want to do then is pretty much to make this 11.474. So that was my height. So I'll make it 11.474 and hit enter. With the lock, that should change the proportions of everything. Here we go. And now notice over here, all these little pieces are coming in separate. If you were doing HTV or vinyl, you wouldn't want it like this. You would have saved it over there as a, you would have gone Object, Make Compound Path. I'll show you that just a minute, okay? Let's just look at this one first. So what I would do now is just simply ungroup, come up here and ungroup, okay? And maybe I'd take all the red pieces together, and I can just move them over here if I want to. Whoopsie. And if I'd like, I can group these back together. So I can grab all of those. Hopefully I've got all the red ones selected, and I'll say group. Okay, looks good. So there they are all together as a group. The black ones don't need to be grouped because they're just one single piece each. I might want to group maybe this one. Group. Oops, I got too much. Undo. I might want to group this guy. And then I can also group this guy. So what we basically ended up with is 4 groups over here now. These guys aren't grouped, but let's see. Group. So we have 1, 2, 3, 3 groups. 1, 2, 3 groups, and then the 2 little black cutouts for Winnie. And this is what we would do now. All you need to do for your Cricut is go to Make It. Let's check this out. Okay, that is not going to work. I don't know why I put 2 of them on one. Let's cancel that. Oh, you know why? No, I don't know why. That's odd. Huh. Let's say Make It again. I'm not sure why it's... Well, there we go. I'm not sure why. But it can only fit one on the black at a time. There's the other black. All the gold is going to be like this, which is fine because this is cardstock. It's not vinyl. We don't care if they're like that. This piece, it must have been an accident that I forgot to delete. And then there's these pieces, which are his shirt and his little mouth. Okay, so let's cancel that for just a second. And remember what this looks like now, right? When we go to Make It, the yellow sheet is a mess like this. If, on the other hand, you're making it SVG and you want to use it for vinyl, here's the difference. Let's cancel this one. Let's grab all this jazz, make it a lot smaller if I can. I gotta go out here first so I can do it. All right, and I'll just group all of this together, actually. One group, one big group. Okay, so there it is, one big group. Now let me show you over here in Silhouette what you would have done and how it would come in differently. So if you were using this for vinyl, let's go back, Control Z a lot back, right? We got to go back a lot because I've already messed these all up. So I'm just going back until they're still put together properly. All right. Almost there. Okay, there we go. All right, so what I would have done differently, whoopsie daisy, I missed him, is this. I would go ahead and come up here to select by color, select by fill, and I'm only going to do the shapes on the media because I only want these guys selected together. I don't want him together as well. So I'm going to do this one first, right click and say make a compound path, or I could have come up here to Object, make compound path. That makes it like it's one piece. Do the red, Object, make compound path, or right click, make compound path. Not sure where that little blue junk is. Ah, I see them. You see those little blue pieces that are right here? They shouldn't be. Ding, delete. All right, so this guy's fine like that. Then I would do the same thing for this fellow. Okay, I'm going to go to this. It selects it all. Right click or Object, make compound path, or right click and make compound path. If I don't have a compound path, each of these pieces are individual pieces. If I make them a compound path, they're not. So I'm going to go to Object, make compound path, and look together. The black is just one piece. We don't need to worry about it. The red, we'll go to Object, make it a compound path. Now I'm going to show you how differently this will come in to Cricut Design Space if you're making something out of vinyl. So let's move this guy over. So there they are. So I'm going to go ahead and group them. And they're both selected. Now everything's selected. I'm going to go to File, Save As, Save to Hard Drive. And I could put in the size if I wanted to again, but I'm just going to name this one Winnie the Pooh for HTV Cricut. Okay, what is... And of course, I can't save it as a Silhouette file because I'm not using it in Silhouette. I'm going to use this in my Cameo or my Cricut. Save it as an SVG. Okay. Come over here to Cricut, and I want you to check out the difference between these. Upload, upload an image, browse. Here we go. Save. Whoopsie, I accidentally brought these guys in too. Let me delete that and fix that for a sec. go back over here. What is hiding? There they are. They're hiding over there. Let me delete them. I just wanted this selection. So I'm going to go to File, Save Selection, Save to Hard Drive, and I'm going to name it an SVG file. And there it is, what I had already done. I'm going to click on that one. When I say OK, it's going to say you already have one named that. Do you want to overwrite it? And I'll say yes. See, I want to replace it. Yes. So now I'll come back to Cricut, and I'll go ahead. Upload an image, browse. There it is again. Open. So now we just have exactly what we want. Say save. Open this up. Okay, check this out. Even though we have 2 Winnie the Poohs here, look how many mats that takes up compared to what this one did. Right? Remember this one? I'm going to get rid of that one, and I'll bring it back in just a sec. So if I ungroup this one, so we have a shirt and a shirt and this and this, and they're all, that's all one piece. That's a piece. That's a piece. So that's perfect for vinyl, right? So when we go to make it, there's the 2 little black guys. Now since they're little, it fits on one mat. There are these things, and look, they're going to be cut exactly where we need them to be cut, so that when we use our transfer paper, they can be put down exactly where you want them on the shirt or whatever you're making. Same thing for the red. Okay, let's cancel that. Let's put these guys kind of back over here in the corner. And again, let me bring in that other one to show you the difference. So remember this one. How many layers it takes to make these 2. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 layers. So I'm going to group these all together again, and I'll just hide that group. Now I'm going to bring in that other one again. Upload. Let's see. I believe it was this right here. Okay, look how many layers this is. It's crazy. Look at this. It's crazy. However, we want it to cut like that if we're using cardstock. But again, if we were using vinyl, we don't want it to be like this, because check it out. When I say make it, look what's going to look like on my yellow. Look what it's going to look like on my red. The tongue's over there, the shirts. It's crazy. So that's not what we want at all for vinyl. But we do want it like this for cardstock. And I hope that makes sense. If it doesn't, I hope you're asking some questions in the chat right now. Let me know what you're having trouble with, or if there's something you're not understanding. And maybe I can chat back with you live right now. So again, we have 2 different kinds. This is a good SVG for cardstock. And this one is the best one for vinyl. Okay, so now I'm going to show you how I put these things together. So follow me down to my desktop and I'll show you what I do. Okay, here's the Winnie I've already done, and I wanted to show you. Remember how I said when we cut out all the little pieces here so that the black just shows through from the backing? Here are the little pieces that would have had to have been cut out of black and glued on top if I didn't do it that way. So all these little tiny pieces, and I hate using little tiny pieces like this. It's so hard for my fingers to do that. So luckily I get to throw these things away because I've already got my black right here. So this one was done. This is the one I had done earlier. And this one I already got a lot of him done because I didn't think you wanted to watch me tape too much. The only thing left I have to do is his shirt to put on him right now. And then I'll show you how I go about putting these 2 things together. So I'm using my HTV gun, which I absolutely love, for putting things together like this. Although you could just as easily be using, some kind of liquid adhesive. That would work also. So I'm just going to go ahead and put these on. Whoops, I just broke one off, so I'll have to put that on separately. So let's see. How does this go? I think it goes like this. Yeah. Just like that. Perfect. Love it. So let me scroll this around the way it goes. Let's see, how does it go? Let me look at my other guy. I guess it goes like that. There we go, like that. Guess I have it moved over a little far, but that's okay. Nobody's going to notice. The nice thing about this glue is if you have some extra pieces, you just rub on it and it comes right off. Now there was one other piece of red, and I must have dropped that somewhere because I don't know where it is. It goes right here on this collar. I'll find that later. We don't need to worry about that while you're watching. So now I have my 2 pieces of Winnie, and as I've told you, I'm going to put them back to back like this because it's going to be a centerpiece so that he'll show nicely from any angle. The other thing I'm going to do is I'm going to put him on this stick right here, which has had the hole drilled on it so that I can put it right in like this. So what I kind of want to do is I want to see how tall do I need this stick to be. So I'm thinking maybe about right here. I'll cut it off. So again, the tool that I used that I'd shown you in the beginning was this from Fiskars. And this is actually for cutting limbs of trees. And it works perfectly like this. There. Just like that. Cuts it. Bingo. So I'll put that aside. And this. So this will be going right up the center. Or not the center. I don't usually like to have them going up the center. It'll go right up him like this, I think. See how he's going to stand. Yeah, I think I'll have it in this leg right here. So that's the first thing I think I'll do is just put this in here. I'm going to use my glue gun for this. If you're wondering which kind of glue gun I have a beautiful glue gun that I love using. And I have a link for it down below, of course, because everybody always asks, what glue gun are you using? So there's that. So the next thing I do is when I start putting my popsicle sticks in here so that he has more stability, because right now you can see he's kind of floppy, right? And I didn't let that dry all the way. So I'm just going to get out a bunch of popsicle sticks. And this is why I did 2 of the black sides of him. Remember originally I said I was going to do 1, or maybe I said so. I'm thinking if I was just gluing these together, the popsicle sticks would show through here. So I had to have 2 layers of black, obviously. So I'm just going to start going like this. And just kind of putting the glue down. And this is a fabulous glue gun, but boy, oh boy, it's hot. Oh my gosh. I've had it on getting ready for this since I started today, I think. So maybe I'll go this way now, like that. This glue gun is really fabulous. It has a really nice stand too. You know, so many of them don't have a nice stand. And every time you try to stand them up, at least I had that problem with them falling over. Let's see. I think I'll use a smaller popsicle stick maybe now to go up this way. Maybe like that. Okay, let's see. That's looking pretty good. Just think I need some more across or up through the center here. Sometimes I have little half popsicle sticks. I don't see any right now. I'm just going to break one like so. Maybe, let's see. What should I do? Not sure yet. If this is bending like this. So maybe like that. Now remember, there are going to be 2 of these pieces put together, so I shouldn't really have this much trouble with it bending at all. Let's see if that helps. Oh yeah, that helps. I think I need a little more glue over under here because I started taking this off before it was all the way dry. Or hardened, whatever. Okay, let's see. That might be all I need. Maybe. We could put one more stick this way if I want. Okay, So that's him, that's that side. So all I do now is bring my other guy over top here, and I start putting some glue, starting at the top usually, maybe on the ear, a little on that ear, a little there, and then on the popsicle stick as well, like that. And you know what else I love about this glue gun, you guys? It lasts for a long time because the glue sticks are large. So it's perfect. I love it. So I just go in here then and just keep adding glue on the popsicle sticks or a little bit on the sides. Glue that down. This makes really, really cute centerpieces for birthday parties, for kids' rooms, if you want to decorate their room. When my son was little, he had a little Winnie the Pooh decorations going on in his room. Back in those days, we didn't do as much as people do now. But he did have a little, what do you call it? You know where the light switch is? It was a Winnie the Pooh one. And I had also made him some Winnie the Pooh curtains that were in his room. I like to kind of try to glue the sides shut if I can so the sticks don't show. And so that's pretty much it. That's how I do this, and I think they turn out super duper cute. And you can get these kind of things at a Hobby Lobby. So you just set them up like this in here. And I think that he turned out really nicely. I hope you can see him. If not, well, I'll try to take a picture and put him up at the end if I can. So thanks a lot for joining me. Hey, if you like my videos, please give me a thumbs up and subscribe. I really appreciate it if you subscribe because I'm trying to get my subscriptions up to 30,000. I'm getting really, really close, and I'm excited about that. I hope you'll try to make some of these, and if you have any questions, I hope you're posting them right now for me in the chat. Also, make sure you join our Facebook groups because you can always ask lots and lots of questions there. So again, thanks. Thumbs up, subscribe, check out my links down below. Bye, everybody. Stay safe.